From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Cummins.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Cummins. Coming up on today's show, day one of spring in the books. Will it be a leap from the young guys or small steps from seniors that pushes FSU over this year? And a new slogan of sorts caught our ear, which makes me wonder, has Mike Norvell changed it all? Wake Up Warchant is presented by Cummins. CumminsLifestyle. Follow on Instagram. Cummins' own in line of portable products. The best in class, dare I say. Portable power, portable generators for not only yourself, but your RV, your boat. Be equipped with portable, reliable, quiet power. No one does it better than Cummins. Follow them on Instagram, CumminsLifestyle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminoles sports source. Show's going to get better from here, everybody. The Open has been really rough for me lately. I don't know what's going on with me. Maybe we'll have Corey start doing it, and he can bring me and be like, let's welcome in Aslan. But for now, I welcome in Corey Clark, senior writer from Warchant.com, also 1/3 of the gloriousness that is Seminole Headlines, which will be coming to you folks 1 to 3 o'clock as you're listening to this today. Hope you enjoy that. I think we'll enjoy this show because, indeed, Corey is here. And how are you, Corey?
I'm wonderful, Aslan. Thank you so much for asking. How are you doing?
Good, man.
Quick turnaround trip for you, huh?
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. A lot of day trips. Just, shout out Mike doing the interviews like at 11 in the morning or whatever. I can wake up at a reasonable hour, get in the car, putter on down I-10 to Tallahassee. Not a big fan of these gas prices right now, but that's for my other podcast, The Lyons Den, all geopolitics all the time.
Right. Check it out, everyone. Subscribe and review, rate, smash that like button.
Yeah, doing well, man. And it's cool, man. It's football's here. Football's here. The sun's out later on in the day. Makes everything feel that much better. Day one in the books. We were able to speak to Mike Norvell, Duce Robinson, and Daniel Lyons. Not in that order, though. Let's start with the head man, Corey Clark. You had to write about your takeaways from what he said at the microphone, and we spoke to him about, 12, 13 minutes, I feel like, on Monday. He said, it's about as good as you could hope for on a day one. Guys kind of knew where they had to go. You want them to know where they got to go and then be able to work fast, and they were able to do that. So I'll take him at his word. Good start day one, sounds like, for the Noles.
Sure, I guess. It's impossible to know, not just because we're not watching. It's impossible to know because they're not in pads. And it's the first day. It's March 9th. So you're not going to look like a national championship. This team probably won't ever look like that. But you're certainly not going to look like you're reaching your ceiling on March 9th. You shouldn't anyway. But, yeah, when you think about when Duce was talking about, he said they had 50 or 60 new guys. I don't think it's 60, but it might be 50. Yeah. I mean, again, they have 30. I think they have 33 incoming recruits, 25 of which are already here. And I haven't added up all the transfers. But, yeah, maybe that's another 20 to 25. You're talking about 50 guys that have never gone through a Florida State practice before, all being thrown in. Like, to put that in perspective, an NFL team carries 53 on its roster.
Yeah.
So you basically got an entire NFL roster on your team, size-wise, not talent caliber-wise, but size-wise, an entire NFL roster that is all doing it for the first time. So, those walkthroughs matter. The stuff they did in the facility for the last 6 weeks or 2 months or whatever it has been matters because you don't want to waste time telling people what to do and where to go. You want to get better and develop and work on what you're supposed to be working on. So, yeah, that's the challenge of all these schools. I think Florida State's probably got a little more than most, but that's just a guess. It just seems like a lot. 50 to 55 new players seems like a big turnover. But, yeah, that's part of the deal. And, you hope it sounded like he liked what he saw from Ashton Daniels, which, again, part of you is like, well, yeah, you should. He's a fourth-year guy, and he started for, 2.5 years at the college level, or 2 years and 3 games, I guess, the 3 games at Auburn. But then it's also, as Norvell pointed out, it's the fourth offense he's learned in 4 years. So there's going to be a learning curve with him too. So, yeah, I guess, again, that's why they have these 15 practices. They can't afford to have a spring game because you got to get all the practice time you need, Aslan. So they started Friday, the pads come on.
They Did they say something about downfield shots on Monday?
I mean, yes, he said they hit a couple of downfield shots.
Do we assume it was Ashton Daniels throwing it?
I guess, but who can know, Aslan? Great question. Hey, great question. Who can know? Yeah, so I don't know the answer to that, but let's assume that it was Ashton Daniels and Kevin Smith.
Yeah, no, I wasn't asking you to. Sorry, it was that was a little bit more tongue in cheek, but just I did find it interesting. I need to stop saying that as well. But for Norvell to talk about like them taking deep
illuminating.
shots.
What about illuminating?
Yeah, no, I like illuminating too. But like, what does it even mean? Again, I'm not trying to be like a negative, cynical person here, but like, what do you think it means when they talk about like we took some shots and connected? I'm trying.
Well,
to
hit some deep shots. I think is like
one-on-ones, because I don't remember. I remember like day ones when they would do period 3 when it'd be 11 on 11. It wasn't 11 on 11. It was 11 on air. Like the offense just ran plays. They didn't even have any kind of defensive resistance. But I'm pretty sure they would do some one-on-one in day one. Maybe some skelly, some 7-on-7. I hate saying skeleton.
They definitely
call it skeleton. Yeah.
They would definitely do one-on-one. They would do all of it. It would be. I feel like it was a real practice. It's just there's no contact. And so everything Norvell said about the practice, he did couch with that. Like, yeah, even especially when he was talking about the offensive line, he's like, yeah, we kind of like the group we have, but Friday is when it starts for them, because it's one thing to know what you're supposed to do, but can you do it physically? And that's what you have to start proving on Friday. But yeah, I assume I have no idea what the practices last year looked like. No basis of knowledge at all because we've never seen a Gus Malzahn practice. I've seen, I would guess, 80 to 100 Mike Norvell practices in my life. So I'm assuming it looked just like the ones we've seen, and it's a period where you have the one-on-ones with corners and DBs and receivers. You have the 7-on-7 stuff. You have the one-on-ones with the linemen. You have the 2-on-1s with the linemen. I assume you saw there was a lot of that because there's no reason to wait or tiptoe. Like, go ahead and get started.
There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Is that Rocky 4?
Rocky 3.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Rocky. Because, Rocky 4, Apollo Creed dies. Spoiler alert, everyone. Gosh. So he doesn't say that, but he's trying to motivate Rocky Balboa. We all remember the big rematch with Lang, Balboa Lang from 83. Yep. And, I mean, Balboa at that time, I think, was like plus 800. Like, nobody gave him a chance. But Creed became his trainer and he poured a lot into Rocky Balboa.
He did.
Much like Mike Norvell has poured into this football team, maybe he can be the Apollo Creed in Florida State. Ashton Daniels can be Rocky Balboa.
Should we take anything away from the fact that, reading your story, quote, I shouldn't say quote because I can quote you, Corey, because I'm reading your words. There weren't all that many specifics provided by Norvell about the practice itself. In fact, he only mentioned one name unsolicited. Redshirt freshman Javen Boggs.
That played well. Like, he mentioned Devin Carter, but he mentioned Devin Carter like, he's as fast as I thought he was. And it was like, okay, well, did he do anything with the speed, or was he just fast out there? But he mentioned Javon Boggs as having a good practice and looking good. Again, nobody that's listening to this is going to care what we say about Javon Boggs until he starts doing it on Saturdays. But I'm a believer in that dude, man. Maybe I've drank the Flavor Aid because he really didn't get to do much last year. But you don't hear a lot of true freshmen talked about the way he was talked about. And again, I will bring this up. It was in the same manner that the Desirs were talked about and Arnaud was talked about. And the other guy, even Earl Little, who hadn't done anything really at Florida State, was talked about. When this coaching staff was talking about guys that really caught their eye that they think they can play, they were right most of the time. I'm trying to think of one they said, now watch out for this dude. He's really coming on. He's going to be a player for us. And they weren't. Like the guys that they touted in March and in April and then in August, they all ended up being pretty good players. And they touted Boggs almost more than any of them. So I think there's a chance that he could be something. And the way Duce talks about him too, said he's in the best shape of his life, and that he's always been really smooth, but he's even smoother coming out of his breaks. And Duce even said that he's just born to be a receiver. He's one of the guys that's born to be a receiver. And with Duce saying that, that's high praise. So again, we know what you got with Duce and Danzy, although they're both supposed to get better, and they should be better. But then Boggs being that third guy, you might have a nice little trio, man. For all we know, an NFL trio. All three of those guys might play in the league. Right? Would that stun you?
Well, not as
If
good
the
as
star-
we're talking like that's the SC receiver room from 2
Oh
years
my
ago.
gosh,
Corey.
can you? That's incredible. What was over there at USC? But yeah, it was Malachi Lemon, right? Who's going to be a top 10 pick, maybe the first or second wide receiver taken. Zachariah Branch, who transferred to Georgia, and I think is projected as like a late first or second round pick. He was Georgia's leading receiver. Deuce Robinson, and then who was the other one he mentioned?
Jacoby Lane.
Who was where? Was he at USC too?
Yeah, he was like 6'4". He was kind of like a Deuce kind of clone, and so I think they kind of maybe thought, I don't know. I shouldn't even say he was.
But
expendable.
Jacoby played at USC this past year.
Yes, he. Let me see. He had a really good 2024. I know that he had 49 for 745 and 4 touchdowns this year. He had 12 touchdowns in 2024.
Yeah, so like all 4 of those guys are going to be in the league. Two of them, 3 who knows, might be first-round picks, but they're all going to be at least first couple day picks. But, yeah, going back to Florida State, would it stun you, Aslan, if Boggs, Danzy, and Duce were all in the league in 3 years?
Yeah, man. I mean, I haven't seen Javen Boggs catch a touchdown against East Texas A&M. I don't want to say – I shouldn't say shocked, but, like, I'm not counting on it.
I'm not either, but we think we know Duce is an NFL guy.
Yes,
I think Danzy is an NFL guy if he keeps progressing and at some point has to give up track, which he shouldn't do right now because who knows, he might be an Olympian there. But we think pretty highly of those 2 guys. And the way they talk about Boggs, though, is not like the way they talked about Kentron Portier or Darian Williamson or Cam Fryer. Like
I know, but Deuce would have talked them up. Deuce would have given them
you're
some
right.
confidence.
Deuce is a good enough guy that he would be like, he's an animal. He's a dude.
Everybody said it last year. Like, we'd speak to Earl Little. We speak to guys on defense, and they would talk about Boggs. So, yeah,
that's why I
would
believe in the guy more than anything he did on the field as a freshman. But again, he started against Alabama. They only threw 9 passes, so I'm not worried about his production against Alabama. But then he got hurt. And he was never really right the rest of the season. So I don't judge him. It's not like he was a flop. He got injured. But the way they talk, and I'm just saying, the way they talk about, I'm not predicting he's a first-round pick or the next great one at Florida State. I've heard coaches and players talk about their teammates and their players for 20 years now. It catches your eye when they're talked about, or your ear when they're talked about like this. This is not the normal way you build up a teammate. This is more like, holy crap, you won't believe this guy. Now, we haven't seen it yet. We might not ever see it. But that's why I wouldn't be stunned if he ends up being an NFL guy. And at that rate, now look, I'm not saying they have the best wide receiver trio in the country. I don't even know if they have the best one in the state. But there is a chance all 3 of these guys are legitimately good college wide receivers. Like better than 20% chance. Like we know Danzy and Deuce. Danzy still has a lot to prove. Deuce is one of the better ones in the country. Danzy certainly has a chance to be awesome. And maybe Boggs does too. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, with that trio, it doesn't take Jameis Winston to move the ball down the field. Boggs is a big deal, man. Danzy and Deuce are going to draw a lot of eyes. Boggs is a guy that should have a lot of one-on-one opportunities, and if he's as smooth getting out of breaks as we've heard and as tough to cover as we've heard, that could be a really big addition and weapon for this team. And that's why I'm predicting them to go 12-0.
Hell yeah. So what was up with? So did Danzy practice? I wasn't able to.
He did.
Okay.
Yeah. So you really do tune out when Norvell's talking.
I'm sorry.
You come a long way. Just leave me the camera, buddy. Teach me how to do it. You don't have to come and not listen. No, he said that, but because I think this, he talked about Danzy. Danzy's practicing this week with the team. I'm very confident. Well, I'm confident, not very confident, that indoor nationals are this week, and I don't think he qualified. Is my guess. And so since he hasn't qualified and outdoor season hasn't started yet, that he's using this week to be with the football team. And then next week, I think the outdoor season kicks up. He starts training for the meets in the outdoor season, and then he'll go back to track more full-time. But this week, he was out there today. He's out there Monday, and it sounds like he'll be out there Wednesday and Friday as well.
I was trying to see if I could find the list. Accepted athletes.
Florida State track and field sent something out. They should have a few. They just won the ACC championship.
I'm checking the NCAA site. What do they have us listed? Maybe it's FSU, Georgia State, Penn State, Tarleton State. Yeah, I can't find it here on there, but yeah, okay. I like. Oh, there you go. Andre Korbacher. He is. That's the only person that's popped up. Oh, they do FL. What a weird way to abbreviate Florida State. Just FL State. He's the only person, the kid that's doing the young man doing the 60-meter hurdles. Andre Korbmacher. That's the only person I see that qualified for. It's got to be more than that for Florida State, you would think.
They just won the conference championship. Hey, and you're listening to two guys that don't know anything really about track. That seems bizarre. But maybe the other guys are hurt, can't go. They know they're not going to win, so they're just preparing for the outdoor. I don't know.
No. Maybe I'll even take all that out, and you guys didn't even know what we were talking about as we return back to this sort of thought here. Duce Robinson, Corey. Are you a guy, would Coach Clark just pick one captain and ride him out for the whole season, or would there be rotating captains? And is there anybody that you could possibly think that's going to, I know we talked about it yesterday, and we're going to probably talk about it way too much because we're not able to watch practice anymore, so we're going to have to talk about esoteric things like leaders and leadership. Anything strike you as interesting or illuminating that Duce had to say at the podium on Monday? And do you feel that maybe him obviously being one of the first guys that we spoke to indicates obviously that that they're counting on this kid to do more than just catch touchdowns this year?
Yeah, he and Lyons. Lyons certainly. Daniel Lyons wears number 95 or did. I don't know. Was
he's
he wearing
5 now? Now
he was 5. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Who was 5 last year?
Was he
him. 5 last year? Okay, that's right.
Joshua, I think Farmer was 5 and 24.
Yeah, that's right. Big fan of the single digits on the big dudes.
Yes, sir.
Like it, always have. We're a proponent of that here on Wake Up Warchant. So yeah, I thought it was interesting with both of those guys. And look, hopefully this will be the last day for a while we talk about leadership, because there are more important things like being good at football. But leadership does matter. And I think one of the things that was problematic with last year's team when it spiraled was, especially on the offensive side of the ball, which, let's be honest, was the problem for most of the losses because the offense was so abysmal on the road, was, Duce came in. It was a big-time guy. That was obvious, but he hadn't done anything at Florida State, and he admitted as much on Monday. Like, it's hard for me to be a leader when I'm new. Like, I'm still learning things, too, and I can't – we talked about it last year with Pettibone, who was a natural captain. He was a captain at Wake Forest. He was a fifth-year senior, smart as a whip, and a good football player, and played a position that encapsulates being a leader at center. But he talked about, like, in August or whatever the first times we talked to him, like, I don't know if I'm going to be a captain. I have to earn that. I don't know. These guys don't know me. And that's one of the problems you have with this kind of landscape is there aren't a lot of naturally built captains that, like, progress through the chains. You know what I mean? Like they don't like LaMarcus Joyner or Telvin Smith, guys that grow up and then become the captains their junior or senior years. It's obviously their team. It can't be Duce Robinson's team when he's been on the campus for 5 minutes. Well, now he's been here a year, and he's done something. And Daniel Lyons didn't practice at all last spring, so he was hurt, and so he had to hit the ground running, really sprinting, in August of last year. But because he hadn't practiced at all spring, and he was learning now it's not like he was just in the same old defense. He was learning a new defense. So then he can't really be a leader when he doesn't feel like he's the best guy of the bunch or one of the best guys of the bunch. Like, why am I talking up? I'm the 6th best dude out here. The coach just yelled at me for 12 minutes because I don't know what I'm doing. Because I'm still learning. It's hard for those guys to be leader when they don't feel comfortable with what they're doing. Both those guys are extremely comfortable in what they're doing now. We'll see if Lyons ends up being one of the leaders of the defense. It sounds like they certainly think he will be. That's why Andre Otto needs to start. If you want him to be a leader, he needs to start because he gets talked about a lot as being a guy that's really taken on leadership role, but he's never done anything at this university, or he's done very little in actual football games. At some point, you got to produce to be a leader. Duce has done that, and I like that Duce talking about how it's hard. It can be hard to be a leader, like especially when you're having a bad day. Like we all have bad days, we just don't want to be bothered. We just want to be in our own. Just think about our own problems and get through our day. And he's like, it's tough sometimes when you're having to get through a workout or power through a workout, and you can't just be in a shell because you're counted on to lead other guys. And sometimes you just want to get through it and not say anything. We've all worked out. Aslan, you've worked out like that before. You're just grinding. Yeah, it's a grind, right?
Yeah, speaking of grinding and working out, Mekhi Jones is apparently a practicing Muslim.
Okay.
And it's Ramadan.
Oh.
And Evan Turner was talking about Evan Turner. God,
you do that all the time.
Did it? Evan Cooper.
You're going to do that. And Evan Turner, while a really great college basketball
wasn't
player,
that great. Yeah.
Wasn't that great.
I don't know why. Evan Cooper, the safeties coach.
Evan Almighty.
Yeah, there we go. When we were speaking to Matt Lasser on Friday, talked about, Matt was asking about all the newcomers, and he asked about Mekhi Jones. He's like, yeah, man, he played a lot of football as a freshman. We really like him. And, he's a guy right now that's, working out really hard, and he's fasting. He said that he's observing Ramadan. He's fasting. So that means no food, no water from sun up to sundown.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely crushing workouts. So that's grinding. But yeah, I've been able to do something like that maybe once or twice in my life.
Yeah, it's tough. So, yeah, I thought Duce was, as always, enlightening, illuminating in his press conference. He is the face of the program, though, man. Like, Mike Norvell clearly has plenty of detractors. Most people listening to this aren't fans of Mike Norvell right now. I would assume Duce Robinson's approval rating is 100. Like, not just because of how good he is, but how – I don't know. Maybe he's not humble, but he comes across as humble. He talked about what he had to work on. He's like, I know people know that I bobbled a couple balls. I've got to get better about that.
Who says that? What 22-year-old person admits that?
Especially at that position.
Yeah.
Like that position is has become like I don't know, man. Like the star basketball player. I got to get my shots up. Like just the diva position, and he ain't that. And it's so good for the rest of those guys to see that. It really does. I think trickle down to the rest of the guys on the team. I'm an enormous fan of Duce Robinson. No matter what ends up happening during his time at Florida State and whatever, if Mike Norvell can build upon this or Mike Norvell leaves about the time Duce Robinson leaves, Duce Robinson is one of the good things that has happened to this program the last few years. That guy is the truth. He is thoughtful. He is really good. He seems like a great dude. And yeah, I think he's gonna make Florida State fans proud for a good long time, and you're gonna be able to claim him, which is cool because he's fun to claim.
We claim it because Bill's humble. That Corner Pocket Bar and Grill is the best sports bar and grill in the Tallahassee.
19 years, Aslan. 19 years. Next year we're having the 20th anniversary. I think it's November, so it's this year. It's like November of this year. It'll be the 20th anniversary.
Really?
Yeah.
Gosh, I feel like it was just yesterday. We're celebrating the 16th or something like that.
They grow up fast, don't they, Aslan?
Yeah,
they
man.
Grow up fast.
You know how hard it is, everybody, to be a restaurateur and survive the ebbs and flows of the day-to-day, let alone the month-to-month, year-to-year, and you've been doing it for 19 years? Well, that's for good reason, because everything there is awesome. The food, the drinks, the people, the entertainment. Trivia going down tonight, 7 p.m., Thursday night, bingo, $1,000 up for grabs. TVs everywhere. I was there last Friday. We had the Dallas Stars Colorado Avalanche game on a television because your guy, Matt Lasser, wanted to watch his beloved Stars play a hockey game in the middle of March. Who's your favorite team? They'll be on a TV at Corner Pocket. If not, they'll get it on a screen for you because that's how they get down. 2475 Appalachian Parkway, cptallybar.com, the website. Corey, will you be there at trivia tonight?
Yes, I will be there.
Nice.
I'll be trying to. We've been on the podium the last 5 or 6 times we played, but we have not won. So we keep finishing second or third.
No
so we
P1, no P1, just podiums.
No P1s. Yeah, exactly. We still get to spray champagne on everyone, but it's not the same, Aslan. It doesn't count as much in the constructor standings. Everyone, that's F1. Those are F1 jokes. I know you guys are all huge fans. But, yeah, we'll be there. So hopefully we can finally restake our claim as the best team in Tallahassee.
Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachian Parkway. Instant gratification society these days, right? But not necessarily a bad thing. We want results. We want good results. We want those good results fast. Brunt Workwear has been committed to crafting quality workwear that looks great, is tailored for life on the job site, and it's ready to go out the box with unmatched comfort. No break-in period needed. Brunt offers a full range of high-performance gear built for the tough jobs, from heavy-duty work pants to weather-resistant jackets. Brunt designs durable, reliable workwear that keeps you protected and productive in any condition. Brunt was tired of the workwear brands out there cutting corners, so they built something better. Boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. For a limited time, our listeners get $10 off at bruntworkwear.com when you use the promo code WAKEUP at checkout. $10 off with promo code WAKEUP at bruntworkwear.com. We're back. Wake Up Warchant, presented by CumminsLifestyle. Check out our message board, the Tribal Council, for the post-pin thread for mailbag submissions. I don't know if it's up right now, but it'll be up.
Are you
going to
be in Gainesville, Aslan?
Good question, Corey Clark. There's a high probability I will be in Gainesville to watch the Noles take on the Gators tonight in baseball and hardball.
Yeah.
I've never been there for a baseball game. Been there for a hoops game. I think they won. It was the 2019 season.
You saw them win a basketball game in the O-Dome?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've never done that.
I
Good
think
for you.
so. I remember them being in a
it
good
could be.
mood.
They beat them. It was Vassell's sophomore year. So that good team.
Was that 1920?
Yeah, that was the team that ended up being awesome. Vassell, Patrick Williams, that group.
Yep, I was there. I was there for that. It was awesome. So, yeah, hopefully maybe I bring the same good luck because I have not seen them. Well, I saw one in the Swamp in 23. I was about to say I was there in 21 and then last year, obviously. But I was there for 23. Rodemaker, letting them know who the boss is.
So you've seen them win in all the things except except baseball. Now you get to cross that off the list.
Come on, Link. One time, man. One time, Link Jarrett. Back to football real quick, Corey. I mean, I didn't say real quick. We're going to spend all day talking about football. Unless you want to talk about hoops a little bit. Matt Lasser, speaking of the aforementioned earlier, he's going to be in Charlotte.
Yeah.
That's where the tournament's at, ACC basketball tournament. So we should put some sort of graphic with all of our faces on a map, like the cartoon faces we have all of us.
Yeah, that's right. I'm in Atlanta watching my kid play baseball. You're in Jacksonville preparing for a wedding. Matt's actually working. Ira's working. Yeah, that's good stuff.
I didn't mean like that. I meant like I'm in Gainesville.
Yeah.
Matt's
we got everybody
Charlotte.
covered. Yeah, Matt, Gainesville, Charlotte. Yeah,
self-deprecating. There we go. All right, back to Duce real quick. So again, this might be we'll try to make only one day a week that we talk about leadership, everybody. But when he mentioned that, good teams are coach-led, great teams are coach-inspired, player-led. Felt that kind of on a spiritual level.
Yeah.
Reminded me, I think that's what 23 was. I mean, 23 was obviously, to your point, there's more than just leadership. There's athletes, there's playmakers, there's dudes. 23 loaded with them. This roster, I don't think so. But I wonder how much of the coach-inspired, player-led, like that's what I think about. If you asked Jarian Jones, I'd be like, that is the absolute complete fit, accurate term probably to describe the way he would talk about the 23 team. I think he was inspired playing for Coach Mike Norvell, and then he led, part of his unit, whether it was the segment room or the entire defense. Like he was one of those kind of guys. I don't know, how can can Mike recapture that now that he's calling plays? Does that make it easier for him to be a coach-inspired, player-led program if he's actually now back in the trenches, like calling the plays? Because last year we felt like he was going to be able to be more of a overseer, delegator, CEO, go around, give some guys a little bit more attention if they're having a bad day, if school's down, if their girl's giving them a problem or something like that. Like, all right, this is good. Like, let him just be this guru, this emotional guru, and get everybody coached up, and then let Gus do all the heavy lifting. Like, do you think Mike, him at the controls, that's part of a coach-inspired, player-led, perhaps revival?
I don't know.
Help me out, man.
I know it's a good question. I don't have a good answer for it. I don't know. I think that's what Norvell wants. I think that it sounds like that's like a Norvell phrase, a turn of phrase. Basically, like saying this is on you guys to lead your team. We'll try to inspire you to want to lead, but it's on you to lead. But it's. I mean, Again, I'm going to harp on this until they fix it, until they fix the sport. But the NFL, nobody tasked Andy Reid with inspiring anyone. Call up good plays and put together a good roster and go win football games. Same with what's his flip in Philadelphia? Is it Mike McDaniel, the
Nick
Seahawks
Sirianni
coach?
was the guy in Philadelphia. Mike McDonald was the
Mike
former...
McDonald. Like, did he inspire those guys, or is he just a good coach? Like, again, it goes so far. It only goes so far. Leadership, especially player leadership, is legitimately a huge deal.
Mike McDonald's the reigning Super Bowl winning coach for the Seahawks. Mike McDaniel, the guy from the Dolphins. I apologize.
Oh, right. Hey, speaking of the Dolphins, it looks like the Falcons got Tua.
Let's go.
That's big time. That's finally the things are breaking right in Atlanta. Got a big-time quarterback, finally.
Competition.
So, yeah.
Is it who's Sperry, who's Ashton Daniels in the Michael Penix
right. It's a fair
fight?
It's a fair question, Aslan. I don't know. That probably neither one of them are as good as Ashton Daniels. So that's my life.
Hell yeah.
Mike McDonald. No, Mike McDonald was the guy from the Doobie Brothers, right?
Well, that's No. Is it? It's something McDonald.
Well, either way, McDonald with Seattle. I don't think
Correct.
he inspired Sam Darnold to be great or that defense to be really good. And Sam Darnold wasn't great. That defense was great for a lot of the season. I don't think they were inspired by him. They were just coached well. Mike Norvell's job, in my opinion, just like Kirby Smart, Ryan Day, Cristobal, I think 5% of it is inspiration. Everything else is strategery, to quote Will Ferrell, trying to quote George Bush. I just think it's more about coaching decisions and scouting. Like, put them in a position to succeed. That's not going to be a speech at halftime or pounding your chest. That's the work you do right now. Be better at your jobs. Don't just try to inspire. And I'm not saying Norvell is. That's where I think Norvell. That's what I'm hoping the difference is the offense is better because Norvell is better than what they had last year. I'm not convinced of that at all, but that's what I'm hoping. Obviously, I think Norvell probably is better at connecting with players than Gus Malzahn, but what does that matter? In the grand scheme of things, you know what I mean? Like, what does that matter? Get guys here that can play. I think at the skill positions, he's absolutely done that. And I don't expect Herb Hand to inspire all these offensive linemen to be much better than they've ever been. I expect Herb Hand to pick the 5 best guys and put together a blocking plan that can produce points and yards. That's all I want him to do. So, yeah, a good question. And also it's a March. And it's like, yeah, it's hard to talk about that kind of stuff because it's March and we don't know how this team gets along or what they think of their coach. But refining the I can't remember exactly how you phrased it at the beginning when it's like recapturing the magic or revival. Yeah. Again, I want to go back to half the roster is new. And there's only, I would guess, 10% of the roster is back from 24 from 2 years ago. It's probably 10%, maybe less than that. So it's new guys that haven't heard the message. So I don't know how your message is stale or flat when most of the guys have never really heard it before. So let's hope that it all works and it all comes together.
Has anything changed, do you think, Corey? Like, do you think Mike Norvell's any different now than he was last year, 2 years ago? Because I just wonder, hearing what
he's got to be, right? Right?
I mean, it's like a double-edged sword, right? It's like a catch-22 or whatever. You can't possibly not evolve and change who you are, what you've done after what's happened the last 2 years, but then you don't want to go away from who you are and what you've been because that's what got you to the point to be the head coach of Florida State and win 19 straight games. But I think he was a little more clear-spoken, a little bit more direct, not very over-the-top Pollyanna at the podium, so maybe that's a little bit of a difference, but maybe he's giving us a little bit of a different side, but it feels like the players I still think are getting the same Mike Norvell experience for better or worse. If that's like Duce's takeaway about, because to your point, I think that's definitely either a Josh Storms or a Mike Norvell kind of slogan. And if it's a Josh Storms slogan, it's because Mike Norvell probably gave it to him.
Yeah, but I would just think he understands after the debacle of the last 2 years what matters most. And again, you want to connect with your players, that's fine. But this is such a transactional game. You have a lot of these guys for less than 2 years, if you're lucky. So the relationships don't matter that much. They just don't. It is a business, and you need to put these guys in position to succeed, and that's your sole goal. And maybe he thought that, and I'm not saying he did, but I think he believed a little bit of how great he was. I think this. I'm not. No. It's just a thought. It's not. I'm not saying it's a fact. But he probably thought going into 2024, man, I'm the best coach in the country. I know what I'm doing. We're great. This is one of the best staffs in the country. And I trust everything about the way I evaluate and develop because I just won 19 straight games and got screwed out of a playoff appearance. And 2 years ago, we won five games. So he must have thought he was awesome, like we all did.
Yeah.
You get brought back down to earth real quick when you go 7-17. And so there has to be a lot of reflecting. And if there isn't, then he's not cut out for this job or life in general. Like, you can't have this kind of disappointment for 2 years and not blame yourself. And he has to have blamed himself. He has to. So I definitely think whatever he's decided needs to change. I don't think it's just the way it was in 24. I can't tell you what the changes are. Maybe as the offseason continues, we'll hear more and more stuff about maybe a different demeanor, different practice habits, different ways of communicating, different ways of teaching. But I have to imagine you can't just run it back like you did 2 years ago and be like, yeah, I got this. I know this works. It's like, no, not really, man. And so, and also, let's be honest, he's got more help. Like I thought that was something interesting we didn't talk about on the Friday press conference was him talking about he's freed up now because it used to be, and he wasn't complaining. This is why he gets the money, right? This is what the money is for. But it used to be a head coach was all of it. GM, developer, evaluator, lead recruiter. He signed off on everything. Well, Mike Norvell's not that guy anymore. Now, maybe he has final say in who they offer, but that's kind of what John Garrett was brought in for and what his staff is doing. So Mike Norvell just has given the team, and now his job is to go coach the team, not inspire and not have great relationships with. I'm sure he wants to have them, but who cares? I don't know that – I know the guys swear by Jimbo now. I don't know that they loved that dude or were going over to his house every other night when he was coaching them to a national championship. And I know they weren't doing that with Bobby. But those teams were pretty darn good. So, strategy matters and competence matters. And let's hope that they're good at both. Well, at least they have some competence, and that the strategy and the offense can be good enough to go win some games. Probably with Ashton Daniels as the quarterback.
All right, moving to the defense now, I guess. This sounds like a guy who's inspired. You don't hear this every day in this day and age, Corey, about guys kind of taking up for the school they're at right now. Daniel Lyons, again, he was made available on Monday. Tony White, when speaking with reporters on Friday, and Ira was the guy that was in the scrum when Tony White was speaking to media members, talked about that Daniel Lyons was probably one of the best, one of the better, if not the best defensive lineman that was they had on the roster towards the end of last season. Guess he had 6 tackles against Florida?
Yeah. So that's what Ira said. Yeah. I'm going to believe him.
So he's been here for a good long bit, and he was asked basically, you're still here. Like, what's that all about? And I thought he had the best answer by far of the day. Let's listen to it together, everybody.
I'm a Nole. They built me. I'm built for it. I done been here when we was winning. I done been here when we was losing. Why run now? We trying to get back on top. We finna go win.
I like that, Corey. A few words, but very impactful words. That went over really well, and as it should have.
Yeah, why run now is a great question. He should have told that to some of his teammates. But yeah, I'm all about that sentiment, man. And yeah, these are the guys that when a team doesn't perform well, I'll always remember this moment. I don't know why it came to me right now, but the game that Florida State lost at home to Lamar Jackson, not 16,
17, yeah, man,
yeah, not 16 when they were bludgeoned, but the next year when Louisville wasn't nearly as good and Florida State was actually in the game, and I think James Blackman fumbled when they were, maybe a first down from putting the game away, and then of course Lamar Jackson went right down the field and won the game. That's when Jimbo told the guy to come down and fight him.
Yes.
Remember, everybody that has the image of how great it was with Jimbo, it did kind of spiral a bit there at the end. And all the guy yelled at Jimbo was get better coaches. And Jimbo told him to come down on the field and say that to his face. So it was getting ugly there at the end. But one of the plays of that game, and a guy that does not get mentioned at all and is kind of just lost to history, is DeMarcus Christmas was on that team. And there was a play where LaMarcus Jackson broke containment, got outside, and probably had a 15-yard run. It was a first down run. He's making a stutter step to go around another Florida State defender, and DeMarcus Christmas comes from behind and tackles him. Now, I think they ended up scoring on the drive anyway. But in a game where your season's already gone off the rails, and you're a defensive lineman in the third quarter of a really hot game, and you're making that kind of effort, those are the dudes that I like to be celebrated. We all can celebrate Jameis and Rashad and Kelvin and Telvin. Like, the guys that were kind of just pretty good players, but not the superstars, those mean something too. And I hope people appreciate guys like DeMarcus Christmas and guys like Daniel Lyons, like that sentiment. because nobody's happy where the Florida State program is right now, and most people just want to be angry about it and angry at the product. And I get it. I understand it, especially if you're one of those that pays large sums of money to this product. But that should make all y'all feel good. That there are guys out there like Daniel Lyons. And whether he ends up being an NFL player or even being a competent starter this year, know that he's on the team, and that stuff matters, and that's important. And let's not quite lose sight. I know we've lost mostly sight of guys like that because they're so rare, and that's not what this sport is about anymore, loyalty and tradition or anything like that. But that's cool to hear. And I don't know why Daniel Lyons turned into DeMarcus Christmas, but I when he said that, I'm like, yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely, Daniel Lyons. Now, if you're getting run over against Alabama, everybody that's excited about what you said on March 9th, they ain't going to care at all, and they're going to be cursing your name. That's life as an athlete. But I care because you need guys like that, and one of the things that gets lost is guys that play really well on bad teams. For basketball, I think of you're not going to remember that. You might remember this name, Devin Bookert.
Yeah.
Do you remember him? Not
from
Devin
Alaska,
Booker.
Right?
Yeah,
McDonald's
that's right,
All-American?
from Alaska. With a T, Devin Bookert with a T.
Yeah.
His last year, he was really good college basketball player, but they weren't very good. So he just kind of gets lost to history. I think he was part of that class that never made the tournament, but it's like it wasn't his fault. He was good. And I think Daniel Lyons, same thing. Like, he's been a decent enough player, and apparently he was very good at the end of the year, and maybe he can be a guy that leads. But either way, it's good. Let's not lose sight of program guys like that because they're important too.
Let me look him up real quick, see what he graded out at last year. Not that I don't believe Tony White, and we shouldn't take Tony White's word over somebody watching that film in their, guest room. 69. Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
425 snaps too, man. 69.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, he's a solid player. He's a good player. He's not a superstar, but you can't have superstars at every position, Aslan.
So the Deseers are the superstars up front. And if he's a above average defensive lineman, we feel better about this defense than we did like a month ago.
I think so. Daniel Lyons is a nice piece. He's not a game-changing piece, but he's a nice piece. McCray, same way. Though McCray and Lyons, to me, are what you're going to get. They are not going to take some huge leap, but they're serviceable at worst.
But isn't the excitement that we're having today talking about Daniel Lyons, the possibility that he's going to grow and blossom into something better than he has been?
I mean, I don't know. Does that happen your fifth year in college? But that's not to say what he is isn't important. He is a starter quality, solid, and he's not an embarrassment. Like he belongs on a college football field. Now, I know that's not a high bar to clear. It is not a bar you want at Florida State, but it's a big deal. So you need guys like that. I think him and McCray both are like that. They're grown-ups. Legitimately, they're both in their early 20s at this point. They've been in college football for 4 or 5 years. They're grown men, and it's good to have those guys. The Deseers and Wynn are the guys that you hope take the giant leap because that's what's supposed to happen with that natural evolution of a career. But it's good to have those solid dudes too. So hopefully that will be the case on that defensive line. And I don't feel as bad as I did, let's say 3 months ago when we didn't know if they'd even have a defensive line. So at least when you look at the group they have now with the Deseers, with Wynn, you hope they take big jumps. And the Deseers are already proven to be pretty good, but they got to get better. So those three guys are maybe the core of the talent. Like they're the most talented of the three, maybe. But when you start talking about guys like Lyons and McCray and Diggs as 4, 5, and 6 on your defensive line, well, then that's a pretty good defensive line. Not great, but that's pretty good because they're decent. I think McCray, when he was healthy, we don't know anything about Diggs, honestly, so I should leave him out. But I think McCray and Lyons have proven to be decent enough college football players. You just want those 3 sophomores or second-year players, the Deseers and Wynn, to be like wrecking balls. And maybe they will be, Aslan.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Why would you wander around a warehouse store looking for paint when you could just swing by your neighborhood Ace? In addition to Ace's award-winning service, we have top-rated paint brands. Plus, our color matching technology allows us to match any color. So stop wandering and start painting. Head to your neighborhood Ace today.
In Crawfordville, your home convenience store is Ace Home Center and Napa Auto Parts, located at 2709 Crawfordville Highway. Time for a one-year check-in with life as a Ridge wallet owner. So it's been strong to quite strong. I made it through a swampy summer. Didn't matter. Front pocket, not a problem. Blizzard winter, thing was still mint condition. Got the Monaco white aluminum with the cash strap. Metal body, rock solid. The elastic cash strap has retained its shape and the spring it's got to it. And somehow Ridge is upgraded with a catalog featuring over 50 colors and designs, plus a 10% lighter wallet that maintains its RFID blocking technology that keeps your credit card secure from what we call unscrupulous actors. Try it and save $10 when you use promo code WAKEUP. No matter what you pick, Ridge has got free shipping, 99-day risk-free trial, and a lifetime warranty on all their products. Go to ridge.com/wakeup or use WakeUp at checkout at ridge.com to save $10 off your order. We're back. Wake Up Warchant, presented by CumminsLifestyle. Follow it on Instagram. Injuries, part of the sport, part of the game. Florida State will be without 3 guys for all of spring and maybe even a little bit longer. Jaden O'Neal, the quarterback from Oklahoma, might have been from Texas and then went to Oklahoma, finishes out his high school career.
Yeah. Yep.
He injured himself last season, played through it apparently, ACL. Warrior. But he will be out. He will be out this season. Cam Brooks from Thomasville, Georgia, one-time Cal commit. Apparently sustained a lower leg injury that will keep him out until midseason.
Pretty sure it's an Achilles. But again, I think he did it where there's, Jason Tatum's playing. So maybe the Achilles aren't the death rattles that we thought they were all growing up. Achilles, I guess you can. Apparently, the thing with Tatum was, I remember when it happened because he got hurt in the playoffs last year, right? He got hurt in May.
Yeah.
And he's already back in March. I think the key is to operate as quickly as possible. I think he got operated on the next day. They didn't wait for any swelling to go down or anything. I think the key with Achilles tears now, I have no idea if this is true, and I certainly don't have any idea if this happened with Cam Brooks. But the key is to operate as quickly as possible, and that gives you time. That speeds up the healing process and the rehab process. Literally, the night of the injury or the next morning of the injury, get in there and clean it up and fix it.
Speaking of healthcare in the Lions Den, they got a family friend who had they've had some unplanned weight loss. I don't know what they call it. It's not called unplanned, but just unintentional weight loss.
Okay, well, that's unplanned.
Yeah, they had an X-ray and there was a spot on their lung.
Oh,
which is really, I don't know if it was an X-ray, but they ran some tests, right? And then that would scare the hell out of me, but they're being pretty stoic about it. They don't go back to the doctor won't see them again until mid-April. If I had any kind of growth that popped up on any kind of film,
I'd be there every morning.
Yeah,
when
man.
the doctor gets there.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Anyways, again, the Lions Den. Subscribe, smash the like button. Talk about everything that's going on in the world.
That's just a taste, everyone. That is just a taste.
And then Jordan Sanders. The defensive lineman who I think was at Cal Poly a few years ago, Texas State most recently. Large human being, 6'2", 6'3", over 300 pounds. Pretty well put together, too. I actually saw him walking out. I didn't see anything noticeable on his person on Monday as you guys were recording the wrap, but he's going to miss spring, but he'll be ready to go once summer starts. Oddly enough, Corey, not all that bothered by that stuff. A little bit curious, though, about Sanders. Did he show up hurt? Did he get hurt as soon as he got here? Is this some sort of thing now after Jason Jenkins last year, transfer defensive lineman? But again, I tuned him out, but I did not tune out when I was listening to Ira and Corey talk about it on the wrap. Quindarius Jones, who missed all last year with an injury, right? Apparently still limited, possibly. Yeah. And then Jabril Rawls. And I'm not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. I don't like that. I want my guys out there, man. I want Jabril Rawls out there. I know we can say he might be the most skilled defensive player they have. And, he'll be able to shake any rust off and be fine once camp rolls around. Don't disagree with that at all. I think they need some really good high-level practices, these next 14 that they have remaining, and to know that he won't be out there for some of them, maybe all of them, that's a bit of a bummer for me.
Yeah, I'm not that shaken up by either one of them. Quindarius is the one that actually has to go win a job. We've been talking about him, I feel like, for 4 years now, and he's never materialized into a solid college starter. and this is the year to do it. He's run out of time. So it's a bummer for him that he's missing the spring, but hopefully he gets back okay. But they're both supposed to be fine for the fall. And Rawls, I mean, it's all right. It's March. We what he is. Reps always help. I'm not saying they don't, but he'll get plenty of reps. You need to get him healthy. It's a bummer he's not out there, but he also, knock on wood, he can't tear his ACL if he's not practicing, right, Aslan? Huh?
That's not a bad way to look at it. I just feel like not so much that he needs the reps or Duce needs the reps going against him, but like he just needs his teammates need to see him out there making plays. I feel like I know they know who he is, but just like I think that kind of stuff does work in your favor, and they need all the ancillary marginal things they can possibly get to go in their direction. Again, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm going to sleep like a baby, by the way, because it's been a long few days here. But that was one of the things where it's like I don't like hearing
the one positive though. Especially because Rawls and Quindarius have been here a while, it frees up some looks for the younger guys to go up against Florida State's best receivers and to get that competition. I'm talking about the corners and just the DBs in general. Like, it does free that up. Again, Quindarius has not earned a starting spot at all, but Rawls being out, it frees up somebody to go try to earn some playing time and to see what you got and get a few more reps. So we'll see. We'll see if it ends up mattering who those guys that are competing for that opposite starting cornerback spot end up being. When he said, is it Jordan Sanders?
Correct.
So he said Jaden O'Neal, and he said Cam Brooks, and I'm like, yep, know those two. And then he said Jordan Sanders, and I'm like, who in the is Jordan Sanders? And I know I shouldn't admit that. This is my job, but I feel like I'm like most of you people. Like, I don't think I had no memory of that name. That name was not anywhere locked into my brain at all. So much so that when I wrote the story initially, I had him as a defensive back, and then had to go look him up. And when I looked up his name, he was a defensive lineman. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know what position he played.
Jordan Sanders does sound like a rangy, bendy defensive back.
Yeah, right. And he ain't, though. He's a defensive lineman from Texas State.
My fault. 6'4", by the way. Graded out at 75.2 against Arizona State last year, and Kenny Dillingham gets him.
Hey, he might be great. He might be really good. No shot at Jordan Sanders. I just legitimately, because of how this sport is, it is hard to keep track, and I did not remember that name at all. At all. So he's out anyway. But he should be back by the time fall practice kicks off, so that's good.
All right. Anything else from Monday? Duce and Lyons, Duce, Mike?
No, we covered it. We did what we could. The baseball team plays tonight. So it's sort of a big game. It's a big week.
I don't like getting the Gators coming off getting humiliated last weekend. But I don't know. Is that really a thing in baseball?
It was a tough look. It was a tough weekend. But what's crazy about it is Florida lost 2 out of 3 to High Point and really should have lost all 3. The High Point bullpen walked in 3 runs in the last inning and literally gave the game to Florida without Florida having to swing the bat. But High Point won the first 2 games, which is crazy. And then LSU lost the series to Sacramento State.
Excuse me?
Yeah, and Sacramento State was 4-10 on the season. It's not like it's an all-time great Sacramento State team. They were what were they? They would have been 3-9 coming into that series and beat LSU 2 out of 3. Baseball's hard, man. And so we shouldn't dismiss wins over Northern Kentucky and wins over the Citadel because they are hard to get. Like, they're just – this day and age, there's never been more parity, and it's the sport anyway. The nature of the sport is a pitcher gets hot, your offense gets cold, hits into some bad luck, you can lose games. But that's – yes, so the Florida games and the Wake Forest games, that you have 4 games coming up. Your sole goal – the schedule's tough, man. To get a top 8 – but I wonder, Aslan, as I said that out loud before, I can't even get to the point I was trying to make. I keep interrupting myself, which is the sign of a great brain when you interrupt yourself.
Correct.
You think this is going to ding the SEC? Is there a chance that ever happens?
Well,
that they're 2 of their premier programs lose at home to Sacramento State and High Point, and yet, because it's the SEC, they're inevitably going to win a series on the road against the top 10 team because they're all ranked, and then all of a sudden their RPI shoots right back up.
Yeah, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right. It's like, well, maybe Florida winning 2 games at Auburn isn't that big a deal because maybe Auburn's not that good, or vice versa, because Florida just lost to High Point. LSU, who was number 2 in the country, just lost 2 of 3 to Sacramento State. So maybe, just maybe, the SEC teams aren't all that great, and they shouldn't get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to national seeds and regional hosts and all that. And that's why I brought that up, is because if Florida State obviously wants to get to postseason. That's mission 1. Mission 2 is to be a top 16 seed, so at least you host the regionals. And mission 3 is to be a top 8 seed. So if you win the regionals, you can host. Unlike last year, we had to go on the road to Corvallis. This week is a big deal for that. Like, you got to at least tread water. You're playing 4 games with pretty high RPI value. Like you said, I think you said Wake is 15-1, right?
Correct.
I don't know what they're ranked, but I assume kind of high. And Florida was ranked 9th. I can't imagine they're ranked 9th anymore, but by the end of the year, Florida's RPI will be high. And even though it's a midweek game and it's stupid and nobody understands why these 2 schools keep doing this in perpetuity, it makes 0 sense why they have the schedule like this, and it's made 0 sense for 20 effing years now. Florida and Miami play a real series every year, Aslan. Every year. Yep. Florida and Florida State play this 3-game and 3 cities and in 5 weeks preposterous, ridiculous series where you never get to see the other team's best pitchers. Best starting pitchers anyway. So it's dumb, but they help when you win them. So go win. And that's tonight against a team that's reeling, but I get maybe they feel good about themselves because they pulled out that win on Sunday. But they are not playing well. You are theoretically playing well. You just don't know who's going to be pitching.
Guess who's number 6 in RPI right now? The
High
Noles.
Point? Oh, the Noles. I thought you were going to say High Point. High Point
Noles.
should have a high RPI, man. It's a great series win for them.
Yeah, I mean, Texas, Ole Miss, and Auburn are 7, 8, 9.
There you go. That's how it always is, man.
And
they're all going to beat up on each other, so the RPI never goes down, but it always goes up. Yeah. Where's Wake?
Florida's 15th. Wake Forest is 24th. Clemson is 3rd.
Yeah, and you got to play Clemson.
And USC's 15-0 in the Big Ten. They're 2 in RPI.
USC?
The
Southern
Trojans are coming back.
Well, they don't miss Braden Dowd at all. They got him out of there, and all of a sudden they can't lose. Him and Purcell. That's crazy. Just imagine how good they'd be with those, well, at least with Dowd. So anyway, big weekend, big week for the baseball team. On the road, those wins mean more. If you could somehow win, I shouldn't say somehow, Wake is not, the Houston Astros. But if you can win two of 3 in Winston-Salem, that is a great weekend. And obviously, if you can win 3 games this week, period, whether you sweep Wake, which is a tall ask, or you beat Florida, you win on the road at Florida, and you win 2 out of 3 against Wake, dare I say you might be 1 or 2 in the RPI next week. But man, their schedule's tough. Like that's the deal, man. You've got to hold leads when you get them, and you got to take advantage of those. Because like we've said, in Major League Baseball, there was always that saying that you start out each season with 54 wins and 54 losses. Going in, you're going to at least have those many wins and that many losses. It's those other 54 that dictate whether you're a good team or not. And that's the same way here. I don't know how many conference games they play. 30? You're going to win 7 and lose 7 no matter what. It's those – well, that's not the math.
Keep breaking it down. All right.
Yeah, you're going to win 10 and lose 10 no matter what, probably, at a place like Florida State. It's those other 10 that dictate whether you're a top 8 national seed. And while it's March and there are going to be bigger games as you move along, you play such a tough schedule that really they play Clemson, like you said. They play Georgia Tech, who's ranked very high. They play Florida 3 times. They play Wake 3 times. They play Miami. It's a really tough schedule, and it's the ACC it's supposed to be. Play well, keep hitting, try to put some pressure on the Gators. But you don't even know I don't even know who the starting pitcher is. They don't get Mendez. They don't get Trey Beard. They get I don't even know. I can't even tell you who's going to pitch. John Abraham?
Oh, no, they said Peyton Manco tender, right? He's tender.
Yeah, so we don't know if he'll pitch or not. So
John Abraham sounds like who I think they sent out the press release yesterday, but they did not disclose who the projected starting pitcher is. So
not a huge game, but it would be nice to win.
Follow along updates live from where do they play called? The Dump?
Yeah, what is it called?
Conjurin Family Ballpark.
No way. Is that really what did they? That I guess it used to just be called Florida Field.
Isn't that what they played football? Isn't it still called Florida Field?
Yeah, what did they call the baseball stadium forever? I know it had a stadium, a name. I just can't. I know Alex Boggs is LSU. I know Foley is Athens.
McKeithen.
There it is. Yeah, McKeithen. That just flows off the tongue, doesn't it? McKeithen.
The Mac.
Yeah, the Big Mac. By the way, I hope that Florida baseball is horrible this year, and I hope it's because they all know what a horrible human being their head coach is.
Oh. Okay.
He's just – I can't – and I say this with real sincerity. I know how sports fandom is, and I've been guilty of it too. You overlook bad things if the person's good at their job because you want them to keep giving you meaningful wins because the wins make you happy and your team winning makes you happy, so you're willing to overlook some things. I can't imagine what it's like to be a Florida baseball fan with that guy as your head coach, considering what Florida State has had really kind of for 45 years. Like – I don't know if Link's a nice a guy as 11, but Link is a guy you can be proud of.
Yeah.
He's never, I don't think, maybe I shouldn't speak. I don't know Link's backstory. I don't know what he's doing with his life, but I'm pretty convinced he's not doing what O'Sullivan's doing, and I don't think he's the kind of person that O'Sullivan is and is proven to be, and it's just gross. And that guy's a leader of men, supposedly. But he can really coach, and he can really develop pitchers, but he does not seem to be a great human being. Google him if you need to figure out what I'm talking about. But, yeah, so I hope they tank, and he ends up not getting to do it anymore. Actually, no. But screw him. Make Florida have to deal with that personality forever. And that just what he did last year at the NCAA Regional. You remember that?
Yeah.
When he screamed down all the Coastal Carolina
Yep.
AD and the administration and the equipment guys, the field what do you call them? The field workers. What do you call those people?
Maintenance. No,
maintenance. Yeah, maintenance kind of. Field maintenance. He just screamed them down and showed his ass and finger in their face, yelling at them. And I love that the Coastal Carolina coach called him out on it because it's Bush League and it's nonsense and it's bullying and it's despicable. Really.
Groundskeeper.
There you go. Just treat people that are seemingly below you in lots in life like that. Yeah. Says a lot about who you are. All because they didn't have the field ready in time for his crappy team to lose its second game of the regional, be bounced. Just not a good person. That's my rant for today. I got Clay Travis last week. I got Kevin O'Sullivan this week. I can't wait to see who's next week.
Who's next? We'll find out on the inaugural episode of the Lions Den with Corey Clark as my special co-host.
Right. Sure.
All right, we're done. Seminole headlines, 1 to 3 o'clock. Probably I'll be in Gainesville for the baseball game. So check out warchant.com for updates from there. Maybe I'll also be able to clip out some, hopefully, highlights. Bombs being dropped on McKeithen, Condren Family Ballpark, whatever. And hopefully a lot of punch outs for John Abraham or whoever gets tasked with slowing down the Gator bat. So we'll do this again. I don't know if we're going to, I know I said we're going to do 5, Corey, but maybe we'll do 5 this week as it is the first week of spring and we're all excited. I think next week is spring break, right?
Okay.
I think next week is spring break, so they're not practicing at all.
Okay. All right.
Probably not going to do 5 that week.
All right.
But maybe we'll do some interviews. I was thinking, maybe we'll try. Should we get Issa Torres on the show, or do you want to save that for like super regional weekend?
I wouldn't mind Issa Torres. That would be fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see what I can do. Thanks for listening. Listen to Seminole Headlines again, 1 to 3 o'clock. Subscribe to warchant.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe, rate, review. Tell a friend. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Cummins. Follow CumminsLifestyle on Instagram.